23 tiny texture updates Minecraft should add. Today we're counting down everything, big and small, that Minecraft needs to fix. Like this example with the creaking. Using the creaking hearts, if we summon them with different wood, you'll notice that every one of these has its own wood texture that goes onto the creaking. Look how cool this is. You got the oak creaking, the cherry one with the heart on it. I love that. The birch one looks disgusting, as birch should be. It looks like a mummy. Yeah, I like how these look a lot. And it would be cool if you wanted to get the creaking heart from the Pale Garden and then move it into other places to have this option. That's not the only different variants we've got. I wouldn't leave out one of the favorites from my own favorite mob. We got biome sniffers. Look, it's jungle themed sniffer. Look at that. I love it. Oh, iced out down to its bones. That's awesome. Is there underground sniffers? Yeah, there is. Look at this. He's got a sand color. He looks like Torterra. All right, cherry biome, cherry sniffer. Yeah, that's perfect. Look at that. It looks like a Mario enemy. He's a little bit of a hermit. Whoa, look at that. You got camouflage sniffer. Everything down to the beak kind of gives it away. I gotta give it enough space so it doesn't suffocate on me as soon as we take it to its new home. Look at that. Nice and purple. Oh yeah, I gotta change my vote. This one's even cooler than the cherry biome one. I mean, it fits my color scheme a lot better. That also helps. We got the blue one up here. This is so much neater. All right, I didn't notice this, but you can see right here, the redstone texturing never lines up. It never fully connects. So with the help of vanilla tweaks, and now finally, oh, thank God the game's playable again, you can see the texture actually lines up in the wiring. Now it just makes so much more sense that it connects. Normally the rim trim, fun to say for one, rim trim, but you look at it and it's like a weird darker color. And that's particularly weird with the advent of resin, because now that you've got the resin, it just feels strange to have the gold look the exact same color. So if I add the rim trim, now it's actually going to be this proper color of the material that we're adding. Regardless of what I'm wearing, it's always going to be the same color. So if we get over here, you're gonna notice something different, especially when we looked up to the ghast. Now all of these big mobs are pixel consistent. I also noticed that the wither causes all these weird red bloodstained patches in our walls. That's kind of gross. But yeah, normally the wither has a texture that doesn't match how many pixels its model actually is. And with the ghast, you can particularly notice it. The ghast, I will say, it looks a little too much like an HD texture pack. But with something like the Elder Guardian, I think it looks great. And you look at it next to a regular Guardian and they fit a lot better. I mean, this guy's not gonna fit so well on land, but I think it makes it look pretty good. And for the number of blocks that we have, as Observer's pointing out, it matches how many pixels should be per block. So if you've ever played Minecraft with fast graphics, then you're aware that when you do, normally your leaves look really ugly. It's one of the textures that doesn't feel like it's gotten modified very much. But now, with the new texture changes that I'm playing with, it actually looks very similar. I wouldn't even notice from this far away whether I'm playing with fast graphics or not. It's honestly shocking to me that it didn't get put in this way, especially with like the texture changes of 1.14. But there you go. Now we don't have to deal with as much black. We could just look at the much better dark green. But nothing's yet convinced me to play with Fabulous Graphics. I still don't fully know what Fabulous Graphics does, and I do this game for a living. And speaking about our leaves, we've now got darker dark oak leaves. Normally, in regular Minecraft, for some reason, oak leaves and dark oak leaves are the exact same color. But now it's different, which I think makes sense. Why add in another block if it's going to be completely the same? Having this darker color, I think it makes it so much cooler to run around the dark oak forest. Actually, Observer, we're going on location. This is a rare time I'm taking you on a trip. Yeah, so look at the difference here. I mean, just parkouring on top of these leaves, it looks so much better. I would be curious to see how a woodland mansion looks amongst all these leaves. That looks so much better than it does in vanilla. Observer, let's summon in a friend. There we go. So, because iron golems give out poppies, they now have red flowers as opposed to just the yellow flowers that they normally have, which look way more like glowberries. But we've got these, which I think looks good, especially when you kill it and you're like, oh, okay, cool, I got the red flowers off of it. All right, we got this big boulder here, but it's not just because we like rocks, it's because we like moss carpet. Since now when we add this over, it adds this overhang onto blocks, which is particularly cool because now that we have pale moss creeps up blocks like this, so I think the ability to have it creep down like so is a really good tweak. You get this like weird moss sandwich Very nice. Yeah, I'll take my boulder just without the greens, please. I'm trying to stay away from veggies. All right, here we've got the elytra, but it's made to look like phantom wings because you use phantom membrane to repair them. So I think the idea of having these be way more akin to the phantom just makes it way cooler for lore, and they look really nice. I mean, I will admit, I am a little disappointed to not see my villager rescue cape right now. Let's see them fly around in action. Oh yeah, I don't have my pilot's license. I should have started with that before we jumped off. I also don't have rockets to get back up to the observatory. How do these look when enchanted? Yeah, look at that. Oh, teeming with life. My dead wings of an animal. Marvelous. So you know how you need amethyst to craft spyglasses? Well, you actually never see that in the spyglass texture until now, because now with copper and amethyst, we get the proper looking spyglass. I mean, it still looks the same in here, although I will notice that there is a purple ring around the edge of the glass that you're looking through, which is cool. But now with the accurate looking spyglass, I'll admit it's an interesting color choice. It is the ingredients that Mojang decided for it. I think because they wanted to make all these items useful. You're gonna notice this barrel feels a lot more alive now because things like mobs will start to blink. The bucket of tadpole actually swims around the bucket. I love that. The water bucket sloshes around, which is fun. Fire charge is animated. This one feels surprising that it's not in the base game. That fits really well. Torches and campfires are definitely the most noticeable. The Totem of Undyne's a little unsettling with the way that it blinks. Oh god, they all just blinked in unison. Oh, the chorus of the blinks. That's so eerie. This is like showing up and trying to win over the council. But look, the little axolotl bucket. I would just carry this in my hand as a Totem of Undyne. I don't care if it doesn't save my life. I just want to have it near me. So this might look like a pale representation of a nether portal, but actually, if we go into our escape menu, you'll see that now we have icons for the different things on the menu. Now having the gear for the options, the ability to have that icon for the feedback, advancement statistics, the bug one's very funny. But look, it even goes down into here. We've got skin customization with the hanger. I mean, for being able to tell where some of these are just at a glance, this is cool. I like the difficulty ones as well. We got peaceful, easy, normal, and then hard is the wither. That's fun. The multiplayer, we got the different player icons. We got the portal for realms. That's what we were building there. It'd be nice if they did it for the game rules. Those are ones that I always have trouble understanding whether or not to toggle when I'm setting up a new world. So we see these blocks, and all of these blocks were famously changed with their textures in 1.14's texture update. Some of them for the much, much better Netherrack. And the thing is with programmer art is that it only goes up to that update. So the idea here is that if you want to turn on programmer art, there's now the programmer art continued project, which now not only adds it for these blocks, but you'll see that blocks that were added after the fact, like the lodestone, also have the programmer art textures, which I think looks really nice in this weird, comforting kind of way. Not as comforting when you look at the waxed, weathered, cut copper slabs. Those look very ugly. It's like a moldy texture. But if I scroll through here, you're gonna see a bunch of blocks look very different. Look at gilded blackstone. That's awesome. That looks like the creaking. The Totem of Undyne original texture is so unserious. It's just a guy. He no arms up, no nothing. He's not here to save you. Whoa, look at this guy. Ugh, I hate his mouth. That is a very big decrease. The Sniffer just looks like the grim version. This is the gritty reboot version of the Sniffer. The Piglin Brutes having the cool scarred over eye. I feel like these are easier to tell that they're Piglin Brutes than the regular Piglin Brutes. It looks kind of like the bare bones texture pack. The way that everything gets so much more simple. All right, Observer, we're smithing up some stuff. So as I'm adding in different things, like I add in the Vex armor trim, the Wild armor trim, any of these trims, the Silence one, you notice all of the textures are exactly the same. It's very much a banner pattern situation. But with the help of this one, you now no longer need to hover over. They actually look like how they look on the model. Look at that. So you know, oh, okay, got it. That's the Silence one. Just by looking at your texture in your inventory. If you're gonna have a visual item, just make everything visual with it. That's my take. Having to go in to hover over things is just so much more complicated. And plus, it gives you new items to play around with if you want to build with stuff in like item frames. Now you've got new items and textures to use. All right, so currently we have spawn eggs, but you can't really tell what these are until you hover over them. But now we've got this one that makes it all into mob crates instead of spawn eggs. And you can see that it carries inside of give them each of these little mobs, which I think is just adorable. I mean, even something like the bog looks cute. Maybe not when you spawn it, but when you see it like that, that's great. And if I just go and hover over these, you can see all of our favorites made it over here. The axolotl is adorable. The cat looks great. Elder Guardian. I love the squid one. The shulker's ridiculous. The wolf looks so shifty. He's just looking at you this whole time. Skeleton horse probably looks the most scuffed. That's just bone meal pouring out of a bowl. All right, observer. We got a bunch of container blocks over here. That's a really technical term for them. I like to think of these as just all the blocks that you can interact with. Usually when you would look at these, they all have the same UI, just that boring gray that you're all familiar with. But now everything looks distinct. So we get this chest and you can see that it even has the little hinge on the top of it right here, the little lock. I love that. Open up the chest minecart, you can see the minecart behind it. That's very fun. The barrel. You can look in the shulker box and you can see that it's got this purple color here. Crafting table gets a huge change. The crafting recipe book is almost a little too much changed for me to even know what's going on. The enchanting table one looks super cool. The loom, blast furnace. I like how all of these are open grates. That's fun. Regular furnace. Does it open up as soon as it smelts? Nope, it just appears there. I was really hoping it would open up the furnace. The smoker, you get a little utensil set. Cartography table looks so much better. It can't point you north. I was gonna say, it has a compass, but that doesn't really help you at all. The beacon gets all big and bright and blue. We've got the brewing stand, which I love, with the blaze rods right here. Ender chest is cool. If the eye blinks, it wouldn't be as cool. The hopper, you can see the direction of which the items go. That's so neat. The crafter looks ridiculous with the big open mouth here. We've got dropper with pistons is how it's doing it. I like the idea of little micro pistons. The dispenser has a big bow that shoots things out. That's fun. And the anvil, as expected. So the way that shadows usually are in Minecraft, they're not exactly going to be as pixel consistent as we want things to be, but now they are. Look at that. We got the shadow that matches the size of our items. And as observer's gonna show off, we also got it for our mine carts. But like, what if we get like the warden down? Yeah, look at that. Nice big shadow. Also nice and scary. Let's spleef. I win. So our cats have gotten a bunch of updates, but our ocelots are pretty forgotten. I mean, we can't even tame them anymore. All right, but if I take these ocelots, observer, and I spawn them down, look at this. You can see a little bit peeking out of the side. It's got whiskers and claws. What's a baby ocelot look like? Oh, whiskers. Such a big texture on its face. And the little paws. That's cute. Look at this. We got a 3D version of the mace, which looks so much cooler. It looks a little bit, it's like I got the biggest microphone in the world, and I just want to talk to everybody right here. I like keeping the heavy core on it too. That's very nice. This is why we have the roof. Oh yeah! Yeah, I like that mace so much better. We are now over here to look at unique illagers. We've got different illagers now for their different roles. He's also got a lot of things that he's carrying on his person. He looks way more prepared for battle. All right, let's get Vindicator. Yeah, look at him. He takes up his axe. This would be so cool if I wasn't in immediate peril. Ooh, the evoker looks awesome. Does he use his wand? Yeah, look at that. He's even got special textures. Oh, the Vexes are scary. I don't like their horns. I don't like that either. There's actually a lot about this situation that I don't like. If we're taking notes, I would remove a lot of these current things. Look at the Illusioner. He's ready for D&D. Whoa, the Witch is awesome. Whoa. The Ravager looks a lot less silly when it's not like a regular villager. Oh, yeah, also a lot less silly when it's coming right towards me. Whoa, it's got a whole turret system on it. That's ridiculous. It looks really cool in stills. It looks really silly as it moves around towards us. So this is made by Rexstone, whose redstone we've actually shown off on the channel before. And this feels very much like if you ever played FV Disco's OCD pack. This is very much similar because now we've got redstone tweaks that basically take what Vanilla Tweaks has done and go a step further and show you the different levels of things. So this shows you that your composter's at level 4. You can see what level the daylight sensors is giving off. The calibrated skulk sensor is not a fun item to use without the wiki, but now you can look at it and you can see everything that it says. So you know, oh, okay, okay, well, shooting has to be the sound level 3, or the Ravagers, things like that, are sound level 4. I think that's really, really nice. You can see which music disc gives out which redstone level for the jukebox, cake even. You can see as you eat it, it shows the different levels. The blood red observer eyes are a little daunting, I gotta say. The pulsing red eyes, very scary. I'm glad you didn't keep that one, observer. Trial chambers probably aren't gonna be getting any changes for a while, but I think they should get this one. Very disappointed. And then, yeah, this is, I just wanted to put this one in. I didn't know where else to go. I'm never gonna get a chance to talk about this, but the Soy Jack vault is very funny to me. It's so long, observer. Just this one frame here of the Soy Jack vault and the observer is very funny to me.
And with that, folks, YouTube thinks that you might like this video. So see if they're right and have a good one. All right.